We got some big time updates around the Jets defensive coordinator search coming up first on today's show. And then also 5 NFL free agents that head coach Aaron Glenn would absolutely love to sign in free agency. That's what's coming up here on today's edition of the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. But before we dive into it, if you guys could help us out here and reach 2,000 subscribers here on the channel, we've been growing like crazy over the past week, and all the credit goes to you guys for showing support, showing love here for our new channel here at Chat Sports. But we just need 303 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button. I think we could hit it on today's show. So go down there, hit that subscribe button, and stay up to date around everything on your New York Jets. So early on this morning, we got 2 new reports on who the Jets are going to interview for the defensive coordinator position. And first off, we're going to start off with pass game coordinator and DB coach from the Tennessee Titans, Chris Harris, who is interviewing with the Jets today. And Tom Pelissero said Harris is a popular choice for a defensive coordinator position. But Chris Harris was actually an 8-year vet in the NFL. He was a 6th-round pick by the Chicago Bears back in 2009. And he actually had a great season in 2007 and 2010, where he led the NFL in forced fumbles in 2007. Then he was actually a second-team All-Pro in 2010. Crazy stuff for Chris Harris there. But also him and Aaron Glenn do have a long-standing relationship. So where has Chris Harris been over the past couple of years? So he started off his coaching career with the Chicago Bears as a defensive quality control coach from 2013 to 2014. And then he got upgraded to the assistant defensive back coach for the Los Angeles Chargers from 2016 to 2019. And then the Washington Commanders gave him the DB's coaching position from 2020 to 2022. And then the past 2 seasons, excuse me, he was the defensive pass coordinator and the DB coach for the Tennessee Titans. So this guy obviously has been quickly rising amongst the NFL ranks. And, you know, I wouldn't hate the Jets taking a stab at him as potentially the DC, but it's this guy right here who I think is more likely to be the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. This was coming in from Jordan Schultz literally about 15 minutes ago from filming, where he says the Jets are set to interview veteran defensive coordinator Steve Wilks tonight for their vacant defensive coordinator position. New head coach Aaron Glenn has already said he won't be calling the defense, making this a critical hire for the New York Jets. And Wilks is widely respected for his defensive mind and leadership ability. But we also got more on that for Steve Wilks as the defensive coordinator. Connor Hughes of SNY believes Steve Wilks will be the next defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. Also, Josina Anderson reported a couple weeks ago after the Aaron Glenn hire that she fully believes that Steve Wilks will be the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. And it's definitely an enticing job considering Aaron Glenn during his press conference came out and said, hey, I'm not going to call plays, and if I'm a elite defensive mind, I could head to a big media market like New York and call plays for a Jets defense that is all types of talent on all 3 levels. I think it's a very enticing position for some defensive coordinators. But where has Steve Wilks been over the last couple of years? So most recently, he was with the San Francisco 49ers as their defensive coordinator back in 2023. Then he was the interim head coach for the Carolina Panthers in 2022, the Browns defensive coordinator in 2019, and then also in 2018, he was the Cardinals head coach. Unfortunately, they did go 3-13 that season, but also 2017 Panthers defensive coordinator. So this is a guy with a ton of experience. It's not going to be a first-time, play caller on that side of the field. He has been around the NFL. He has been an elite defensive play caller. And that recent year when he was the DC for the San Francisco 49ers, he had a pretty good season. Now, yes, the Niners had all types of talent on that defense, with Bosa at the D-line, Fred Warner at the linebacker position, and always a good secondary over there in San Francisco. But they're 8th in yards per game, only giving up 303.9 passing yards per game, 14th. They're great at stopping the run, as only giving up 89.7 rushing yards per game. They're also a top 5 scoring defense. So I think it's most likely going to be Steve Wilks as the next defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. But, we'll wait and see how this process plays out. But, I would lean Steve Wilks on this one. He's got a lot of experience, and I think Aaron Glenn has made it crystal clear that he wants more guys that have, coaching experience to help fill out his roster. Since he is a first-time head coach, he wants to get some veterans around him, guys who have been head coaches in the past and have led, some of the best defenses we have seen in the NFL over the past couple of years. So I'll ask you guys this. Who do you want as the next Jets defensive coordinator? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you guys have a random name as well, you guys could also let me know those thoughts down below in the comment section. But you guys let me know. Get down there. Who do you want as the next Jets defensive coordinator? Let me know your thoughts down below. All right, coming up now, we are going to talk about 5 free agents that I think this guy right here, Aaron Glenn, would love to sign in free agency. And a little sneak peek here, all these guys are on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, I think the Jets have a lot of talent on that side of the football, but, you could always do some upgrades in some key spots, and specifically bringing in some veterans. And the first guy we're going to talk about here is actually veteran edge rusher in the National Football League, Khalil Mack. Now, Khalil Mack was awesome when he started his NFL career with the Las Vegas Raiders, got traded to the Chicago Bears, and he was a monster over there as well. But, man, Khalil Mack, over the last 4 years, he's had a really solid season, specifically back in 2023. This man, 2 seasons ago, had a 17-sack season with 21 tackles for loss, playing in all 17 games. And over the last 3 years, he has been very, very healthy. And I think if you have a defensive line of Quinnen Williams, Khalil Mack coming off the edge, he's not the same guy he was back with the Chicago Bears in like that 2019-2020 season, but he is still very effective getting off the line of scrimmage, getting home to the quarterback, and just applying pressure. And if you could have pressure from the interior with Quinnen Williams and then pressure on the perimeter with Khalil Mack, I think it would just be a fantastic pickup for the New York Jets. But how about a guy who played under Aaron Glenn last season with the Detroit Lions, a little Carlton Davis III. Now, this guy is a very physical player. He likes to get up in your face, press man coverage. He doesn't need safety help over the top. That's the kind of swagger he plays with. But he had a great year for the Lions this past season. And, one matchup I look at specifically was when the first time the Lions matched up with the Minnesota Vikings back in Week 7. He did a great job on Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. And, he is coming off a fractured jaw this past season, but, that will be all cleared up heading into next year. But this is a very solid cornerback, is already familiar with Aaron Glenn. So watch out for Carlton Davis, especially if the Jets lose DJ Reed in free agency, for them to target the former Lions cornerback. But how about a guy that could follow the GM here to the New York Jets, DJ Jones? Could he follow Darren Moogie going from Denver to New York? And, DJ Jones, he's not a guy who's going to fill up the stat sheet and have, 10-plus sacks from the interior of the defensive line, but he is a guy who's great at taking on double teams and opening up lanes for linebackers in the run game. But his stats on the season, playing all 17 games, which is great to see, 42 tackles, 1 TFL, 1 sack, 3 QB hits, and he also does a solid job of getting his hands in passing lanes since he does have 3 PBUs this last season. But watch out for him. Adding another defensive tackle next to Quinnen Williams, I think would be a good call for New York. But how about another cornerback here? Byron Murphy Jr., cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, it is likely that Murph will re-sign with the Minnesota Vikings this offseason, but he is projected to get around $17 to $18 million per year. Now, will the Vikings, be willing to, spend that money on Byron Murphy? I have no idea. But this past season, man, he was a ball hawk, and specifically in the fourth quarter. I think 5 of his 6 interceptions on the year did come in the fourth quarter. They were calling him the closer there in Minnesota, but he is a very solid player. He's 26 years old, about to hit the prime of his NFL career. And, like I said with Carlton Davis, if you do lose DJ Reed in free agency, I would love a 1-2 combo, Byron Murphy and Sauce Gardner. I mean, that would be one of the better cornerback rooms in the National Football League. So watch out for Murph potentially heading to New York. And then how about a veteran at the linebacker position, Bobby Wagner? Now, Bobby Wagner is, one of those guys that just continues to beat Father Time. He had another great year with the Washington Commanders. He graded out very, very well according to PFF. He was actually their number 1 rated linebacker this past season. So great stuff for Bobby Wagner there. But 132 total tackles, 10 TFLs, 2 sacks, 4 PBUs, a very versatile player on that side of the field. And I think Aaron Glenn would want a veteran at that linebacker position next to Quincy Williams. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring in Bobby Wagner. He could kind of man the ship defensively, a great green dot guy to get the play calls to, or play calls from Steve Wilks, whoever the defensive coordinator is. So I think those 5 guys would be awesome for Aaron Glenn to sign this upcoming free agency period. But you guys let me know. Name a free agent you want the Jets to sign. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. For me, I would probably go Carlton Davis. Has a connection with Aaron Glenn, obviously, so I'll go Carlton Davis as the free agent I want the Jets to sign. But also a friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button. Help us reach 2,000 subs. Stay up to date around everything around your New York Jets. We'll see you guys next time. As always, go Jets.